Juarez. I'm here with Santiago, our producer.
Hi, everybody.
So today we're gonna be chatting with Annabelle Azadé. She's from Well the Future, and we're gonna be asking her some very, very hot questions. So Annabelle, please tell us, who are you and what's We're the Future?
Hi everyone, hi Valentina and Santiago. My name is Annabelle Azad. I'm the owner and the founder of We're the Future, the first sustainable and innovative PR agency and showroom based in Los Angeles. I'm from Paris, as you can hear, so my accent is going to be funny throughout this interview. But yes, I'm based on the West Coast, and so is the agency.
Fantastic, Annabelle. So let's start with some questions, shall we?
Of course, let's get started. Annabelle, when was We're the Future established, and how do you elevate sustainable and innovative fashion designers?
So I started doing PR in Paris. I interned in New York back in 2012, 2013 for a French former Elle writer. Her name is Marie Seiki. She has been having her own PR consulting agency for years, and she's pretty famous in the fashion district in Manhattan. And I interned there about 7 years ago. And I thought to myself, that's really cool. You know, like I've been a journalist for 12 years, but I thought, wow, PR is fun. You know, it's another side of the media, but it's really fun. And I always thought to myself, you know, it was kind of like, you know, working in my mind that I always wanted to have my PR agency, but I always thought, you know, I need the network, the contacts and everything. So I moved to Asia, Middle East, other countries in Europe. And after a while, I came back to Paris, and it was 2018. And I thought, like, you know, it's really cool. So I started doing that in Paris. Then I moved to LA. And I found out that in LA, there were no agency doing this.
So Annabelle, do you think that 3D is sustainable design? And how are designers working with 3D design?
Very good question, Valentina. So yes, I have worked with 3D printed designers last year. So I represented Julia Kerner and we dressed Ruth Carter, who won an Oscar. So that was like definitely the biggest milestone of last year. Danny Peleg from Israel. She's pretty famous. She gave a TED Talk last year. This year I'm representing Spetra Design, and I've represented David Shori, who are both, one is from Lebanon, and I represented her for the New York Fashion Week, and David Shori is more of a 3D designer. So it's really interesting because I've met a lot of different people in the 3D industry. You have people like David Shori, who are going to be very focused on innovation and technology, and they're more from the computer and science side. So they will know how to design something on a software and print it. And you have like fashion designers who are more like in my showroom, who know how to design something, but they're trying to, really like cross the bridge of 3D, and they need that knowledge.
Last month, Condé Nast published the Sustainable Fashion Index. Which terms do you think every consumer should know its meaning?
I think that it was very much needed in the industry. It's kind of like, you know, when you're buying something to eat in at least America, you have, you know, all the nutritional facts. And it's kind of like a ride because you ingest what you're eating. What you're wearing, it's kind of the same. So I think it's super important that they created this index. However, I think that beyond doing it, like governments need to vote some laws because, you know, things needs to be regulated on a federal scale. So it's great that Vogue did that, but I think that countries also need to get involved and do something about it. In my opinion, I'm only wearing sustainable clothes. Like I wouldn't put something on my, and I mean, it's the same for beauty products. You know, beauty products, they do have an index. Like when you're buying something, you have like vegan products that have 5 ingredients, and the ones you buy in supermarkets that have like 55 ingredients.
Annabelle, if every brand considers to be sustainable, is it worth it to design through seasons? Is it the end for mid-seasons?
So there are several things here. First of all, is like, what's sustainable? What do you mean sustainable? What is the word sustainable? We hear it a lot, but we don't really know what it is. Sustainable has different meanings. So people might wonder what it is. You know, maybe people are watching us right now, they don't even know what sustainable is. So if you don't mind, I'll just give you a little reminder. Sustainable, for me, for We're the Future, that's how we represent our talents. It means having a social impact. The second thing in sustainable is, so the people, then it's the environment. So, for example, this jacket, it's from Canada, and it's dye, it's natural dye. It's like a red, but it's a very light red. Now it's pink, It's Genia Evelina, and she did that with plants. So to reply to your question, I love fashion and I want 4 seasons, but I think that everything needs to have a social impact or have respect to the environment. And therefore, yes, people will produce less, but they will have more meaningful objects. It's kind of like when you buy furniture, like, do you want 4 IKEA, chairs, or do you want one beautiful armchair that a carpenter made and designed, but you'll only have one? It's the same question. That doesn't mean we can't keep on shopping. I love shopping. I will keep on shopping, but I'll shop meaningfully, if that makes sense, like with a meaning,
Since you talked about the meaning of sustainable fashion, we wanted to ask you if you think that sustainable fashion is only for the wealthy, and if you think that how can emerging brands really compete with fast fashion prices?
Yeah, so I think that the best thing and the best advice I would give for starting designers is, if you want to be sustainable, just upcycle, do a zero waste policy. So ask your friends for their old clothes, go to a thrift store, go to a secondhand store, maybe even find in the garbage, some like fabric someone has left. I want to show you the example of a success of a brand I have. Her name is Amelia. She's based in New York. And as you can see, she took some old clothes and made this beautiful garment. So we're going to show this to the New York Fashion Week this season. She's starting to have a lot of press, and it's just so easy. And again, it's free.
How can brands make post-pandemic fashion consumers more responsible and ethical?
I think it's not really up to the brands. I think it's up to the consumers at this point. I think that we have platforms, that inform people really well, such as Fashion Revolution, obviously MOLA, PETA. Like, there's so many platforms that are explaining what's going on. So I think it's not really up to the brands, but it's really, brands have to be part of these collectives, but it's up to people to look for information. So I would say social media promotion is just the best right now.
How can we involve sustainable designers in the red carpets and places of huge visibility?
So that's my job at We're the Future, actually. Being a PR and having a showroom helps me connecting the brands with celebrity stylists. Since there are not a lot of red carpets at the moment, we do giftings, and we also lend clothings to celebrities who are just, living in LA, doing photo shoots at home. But that's the core of my job, actually. It's to connect and get to know these people and offer them clothes, and obviously introduce them to the story around each brand.
Annabelle, what do you think, from your perspective and work, that sustainable designers need to take care of or the challenges they face when it comes to making it in the fashion industry?
So to make it in the fashion industry, I think you have to be a business person. It's not only about being an artist, but it's very much about how you can sell your art. It's like growing a network and really knowing your target audience. If you're targeting sustainable clients, you need to make a benchmark, study market. How much is a clothes? How much someone from your country, from your region, is going to be willing to spend on a t-shirt or a pair of trousers? What are the key stores around your village or your town?
So tell us about this picture particularly. What's the story behind it?
It was a photo shoot for Rebel magazine for my dear clients called Alter New York. As you can see, it's the shoes. So they are sustainable shoes made in Brazil.
So Annabelle, can you tell us the story behind this picture?
Last year, I helped Julia Corner, Australian 3D printing technology fashion designer to dress Ruth E. Carter. And she wore that beautiful ornament with Swarovski for the Oscars ceremony. And she won the Oscars for the best costume designer for Black Panther. So that definitely was the biggest milestone of Where the Future last year, is helping Julia with this.
So you have to name the first thing that comes to mind. What's the most exciting thing right now?
The future.
The most boring?
Censorship.
The first thing you do when you wake up?
I hug my dog.
Your favorite teacher?
Mr. Cabasso, my high school philosophy teacher.
Your favorite beverage?
Starbucks coffee.
What was the best birthday cake you ever had?
Magnolia Bakery red velvet.
What was the last thing you cooked you were so proud of?
Couscous for my boyfriend a few days ago.
Your favorite TV show of all time?
Sex and the City.
The favorite movie?
Pleasantville.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Fly.
The purchase you are most proud of?
I mean, it's stupid, but probably my first MacBook, because that's how I started my company.
And what's the purchase you regret the most?
A trumpet, because I only played for a month.
What was the best gift you ever received?
Memories, like travels, things like that, yeah.
What's one habit you wish you could break?
Skipping the gym.
What makes you laugh no matter what?
Sarcasm.
What does creativity mean to you?
No limits, like borderless. Everything is possible, yeah. Sorry, I don't know if that was English, but yeah.
What's one accomplishment you're most proud of?
Being in LA.
What's something you always wanted to try but been so scared to do?
Jump from a plane with the, base jumping, I think that's how it's called in English, yeah.
Your spirit animal?
Panther.
Something you will be doing in 10 years from now?
Walking my dog.
Best advice you ever received?
If it's in your mind, it will happen.
Last but not least, 3 songs you can't live without.
Porcelain from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the first album of Moby, which is not a song, it's an album, but and Air, La Femme d'Argent.
Thank you very much, Annabelle, for being with us, really. So it's been a real pleasure, and thank you.